Hello and welcome back to ParticularPixels. I'm Xiaoling, and in today's video we'll be talking about the recent open beta of Rainbow Six Siege. So the open beta came to a close and the game releases tomorrow. Is it ready for release? Is it worth picking up? And have they fixed all the issues that were reported in the closed beta? I'm going to start off by saying that my impressions of the game itself are largely the same as what I spoke about in my impressions video. So if you are curious about that, you can find it here. But there are several things I wanted to talk about regarding my experience this past week with playing the game. I'll start off with the matchmaking. The beta started off with many matchmaking issues, server disconnects and the like, making it quite difficult to actually get into a match. Now I know that the purpose of this beta was for Ubisoft to test server infrastructure and such, so I suppose that it was to be expected, but these issues were present even before the beta opened up to everybody. Throughout the week though, these issues have mostly been ironed out. However, up until the last day of the beta I still came across certain issues, infinite loading screens and a few disconnects. It seems there were more issues when playing PvP casual matches than in ranked mode. Players would be unable to choose their operators and had to resort to Alt-Enter to force the game into windowed mode and then press Escape, which then allowed them to select their operators. In the last 2 days or so of the beta I didn't really come across this as much, but I was playing mostly ranked, and as I mentioned earlier it seemed to be more of an issue with casual matchmaking setups. In ranked mode, normally one cannot see what operators the enemy team picks, unlike casual mode. However, when using this method, the Alt-Enter to go into windowed mode to pass the infinite loading screen, it caused the entire enemy team roster to be visible to the other team. This was still present until the beta ended, and I think this issue really needs to be addressed. There was also a lot of a discussion about the tick rate of the game being very low, 15 from what I've read, but I came across a very interesting post on the Reddit where the poster has actually done some measurements and says it's actually 50. I'm not an authority on any of this, I just thought I would relay this information. I'll put the link below for you guys who are interested in reading the post yourself. Outside of the mentioned issues though, I didn't really come across many other technical issues, well, no glaring ones which stood out for me at least. So a lot of people have been talking about team killers. Fortunately, I never came across this. Sure, there were players who killed their own teammates by mistake, or your teammates injuring you while trying to shoot down drones, but not just for the sake of killing their own teammates. Ubisoft have stated that they have a solution for those that team kill, and that will be implemented in the final release of the game. For the most part though, I'll be talking about the current state of the game with regard to gameplay things I think could be improved, as well as what other players have brought up. There is another good thread which I've linked below as well, listing a bunch of stuff that could be improved. So let's start with PvP. Ranked mode really needs some kind of level requirement or a minimum amount of attacker/defender operators to be able to play. The number of times I've been in a ranked match with people who don't know how to play the game is more than I'd like. Things like not knowing that you can fortify walls as defenders, not knowing how to use your operators, or even having no knowledge of the map itself. People who are wanting to play ranked should at least know how the game works. Countless times I've been in 5 versus 4 or 3 versus 5 ranked matches. How is this even possible? This should never happen. Or getting dropped into a ranked match midway. These issues also need to be fixed. Another issue is the balance of teams. It seemed in the beta, teams of people who had never played ranked before would be matched against a full team of ranked players. Or there would be a mixture of level 1 players with level 40 players. It is possible that this was due to the amount of people in the beta, but I hope this isn't going to be an issue in the final release of the game. And that for the most part were the technical issues that I had with the matchmaking and the connectivity. Let's take a look at some of the more gameplay related things. The first thing that comes to mind are traps. Kapkan's trip mine and the radio bomb. Kapkan's trap has a really bright red beam that is easily spottable, and on top of that, once it's mounted in a doorway, it has a large spike sticking through the other side of the wall. Is that really necessary? Remove the spike, maybe add the ability to place the mine on top, middle or bottom of a door or window, At least then it would force attackers to be a little bit more cautious when advancing so they don't trigger these traps. Surely this is what traps are supposed to do. Traps are way too obvious as they stand at the moment. And with these traps being so obvious, there is no need to ever play IQ with her low armor. None. Her ability is to detect traps, and all the traps have sounds and visual indicators that make them very easily spottable by pretty much anyone except perhaps the newest of players. There is no reason I would choose to play IQ in PvP. I can hear radio bombs, I can see Kaplan's traps, and I can hear Mute's jammers fine without her. Why would I choose her? Lowering the tells would make her actually serve a role on the team, in my opinion. I know this has been brought up countless times by many in the community and even had a mention in the post-closed beta update notes. I'm not sure I see that much of a difference, to be entirely honest. I think these trap tells need to be toned down even more. Some are saying the red name indicators should be removed from the game in ranked mode. To me though, I don't think this is too much of an issue, especially considering that recruits look almost identical no matter what side they're on. I think that team colors should be implemented. I understand that it's supposed to be CTU versus CTU, but at least have different camo for the attackers versus the defenders, so it's easier to see the difference. Or even have each team have different color armbands that are orange and blue respectively. I don't imagine that these solutions would be impossible to implement. Another thing is all the warning messages. I think it's especially unnecessary in ranked play. You've been spotted, you've been detected, and you can't go outside during the preparation phase. Especially the last message, players don't need a constant reminder. Anyone who's played a few games has probably understood this already. I also think that wait times could be reduced a little more between rounds, if not overall, at least in ranked. Okay, so let's talk about legs and feet clipping through walls. This seriously needs work. The entire purpose of proning is to be a smaller, less noticeable target, but because proning leads to the risk of my character's legs sticking through walls, I have to make sure not to prone in certain situations where I would normally have gone prone. Getting killed because someone shoots your feet because of clipping is not something that you want to be happening. As long as this issue persists, the usefulness of proning is reduced, along with the fact that you have to keep wondering whether or not your feet can actually be seen. There were also massive issues with the voice over IP chat system as well. People broadcasting even when their mic settings were set to push to talk. Trying to play a ranked match while hearing the radio in the background or people talking to their families and friends, eating and drinking, really doesn't build the immersion in the game. I really hope this is going to be fixed for the final release of the game. Most of the issues I've spoken about are connected to PvP mode, and I haven't actually said much about the state of Terrorist Hunt. I'll start off by saying this: I don't think that the increased damage in realistic mode is necessary, on top of the improved accuracy. They do enough damage as it is, they can already instantly spot you and don't miss. Also, why are the terrorist shield operators only available in realistic mode? Surely all unit types should be available in all difficulty levels? And also, why limit the selection of operators to attackers only? This makes sense in classic mode, but not in bomb disarm mode, since you have to defend the point while the bomb disarms. Surely it would make sense to be able to choose between both attackers and defenders in this mode. Also, it seems in bomb disarm, if you are the correct distance away from the diffuser, the AI will just run straight to the diffuser, ignoring you entirely. It's only when you actually shoot that they take notice, but by then they're dead. Especially if you use a silencer, then you pretty much stay unnoticed for the most part. Perhaps the AI need to have killing the player prioritized when within a certain range. At the moment, it just seems strange. They line up like a bunch of lemmings to be shot. The differences between day and night seem negligible at the moment. Yes, it's more difficult to see inside during the day and more difficult to see outside during the night, but other than that I haven't really noticed anything else. It would have been nice if the weapons had flashlight attachments, or if there was an ability to destroy lights or shut off the power, perhaps some kind of a night vision even. I think it would have added another layer of strategy to the game, but perhaps there is some kind of engine limitation. Maybe if some of you guys know that, you can just let me know in the comments below. I understand that the open beta version of the game may not be the same as the final release. Maybe the beta version is older, I'm not entirely sure. I truly hope these issues will be sorted out. The game releases in less than 24 hours. Now, it may seem like this was basically a list of issues I found in the game, and to a degree it was, Don't misunderstand me, I think this game is great, it's engaging, it's fun, and it's something refreshing and different to all the other shooters that are currently on the market. I like the game a lot, and I think the community is very nice as well. So as I mentioned at the beginning, my impressions of the game remain largely the same as what I said in my impressions video. I do like it, I bought it, and I intend to play a lot of it. The issues I have talked about are not game breaking, well, not all of them at least, but would definitely improve the experience in my opinion. I play the game on PC and I can only speak of the issues that I personally came across. I'm sure there are many of you who had other issues that I didn't talk about in this video. This video was not meant to be a bug report list, but rather a bunch of things that I thought would probably make the game a better experience. What did you guys think of the open beta? Did you enjoy it? Are you planning on buying the game? What kinds of issues did you guys have? And that's pretty much it. I'm sure I've probably missed a load of stuff and I'm sure you guys will point it out, and please do. I really hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please subscribe to see more content. If you haven't already, check out some of my other Rainbow Six Siege videos. Otherwise, if you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them in the section below. I've been Xiaoling. Until next time.